In most sports, we've thought that teamwork makes the dream work, right? But what if that's not the whole story? Bluelock throws that idea out of the window, flipping the script by saying, forget the team, focus on you. So, why does this anime champion selfishness over cooperation? How does putting ego first create the ultimate striker? Today, we're taking a closer look into why Bluelock embraces the power of ego and how it mirrors real-world sports psychology to unlock true success. Let's break it down why being selfish might just be the game changer. In Bluelock, ego isn't just about arrogance, it's a tool for survival. From the moment players step into the facility, they're told to put themselves first and to focus on their success above all else. Why? Because in Bluelock, only the most selfish, driven player can become the ultimate striker. Coach Ego Jinpachi makes this philosophy crystal clear. To him, ego is the foundation of greatness. Without a strong sense of self, no player can hope to reach the genius level needed to dominate the field. His belief in prioritizing ego forces the players to abandon the typical team-first mindset. It helps to embrace their inner competitors. As Ego himself says, you can't rely on anyone else, only your goals matter. This philosophy of self-importance isn't just about building arrogance, it's about survival in a cutthroat environment, where failure means never playing professionally again. Bluelock shares this idea with another sports anime, Haikyuu. Though they handle selfishness in different ways. In Haikyuu, selfishness is about pushing yourself to improve for the sake of the team. This is not the case with Bluelock. In Bluelock, it's about realizing that sometimes you can't wait for others. You have to take the shot yourself. Sure, the series might seem to glorify arrogance, but beneath the surface, it's all about balance. Yes, you need to shine as an individual, but too much ego? That'll ruin the team dynamics and lead to bad plays, missed shots, or even betrayals. So, Bluelock isn't saying be the star and forget everyone else. Instead, it's asking how can you show off your individuality without dragging the team down. In this fierce competition, there's a reason for every selfish move. In a world of Bluelock, hesitation or relying too much on teamwork can actually hold players back from making game-changing moves. Take Baru, for example. His refusal to pass the ball to his teammates might come off as arrogant. In Bluelock, it's framed as a mindset of a goal scorer who will stop at nothing to win. Baru's selfishness drives him to take shots that others wouldn't dare. He holds the idea that in order to be a top striker, you need to believe that you are the best options in the field. Sometimes that means going in alone. The series emphasizes that this level of ego is crucial for success, especially when the stakes are as high as they are in Bluelock. Players are constantly reminded that failure means losing their shots at every playing professionally. In this kind of environment, selfishness becomes less about neglecting the team. It's more about taking responsibility for your destiny on the field. In traditional team sports, selfishness is often seen as a flaw, but in Bluelock, it's a strategy. This difference in philosophy creates a sharp contrast between Bluelock and Haikyuu. While shows like Haikyuu, emphasizing that cooperation leads to victory, Bluelock challenges viewers with a different idea. Sometimes, the road to success means putting yourself first. What if being a team player holds you back from being the best? Bluelock makes the case that, in the quest to be the top striker, relying too much on others can stifle your potential. Sports psychology tells us that ego can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, too much ego can lead to arrogance. This causes athletes to overestimate their abilities and make reckless decisions. On the other hand, a healthy ego is essential for building self-confidence, taking risks, and stepping up when it matters most. This balance is what separates good players from the greats. In real life, we see this dynamic play out with athletes like Cristiano Ronaldo and Kobe Bryant. Their egos, often seen as massive, were what pushed them to become the best in their respective sports. Ronaldo's belief in himself allows him to take on impossible challenges. Kobe's Mamba mentality was all about relentless self-improvement and dominance. They didn't rely on others to carry them, they took the shot themselves, much like Bluelock's characters are thought to do. Bluelock takes this concept and turns it into a driving force for its players. Selfishness in the series isn't a flaw, it's a strategy that motivates the characters to fight for their success, constantly testing the limits of their confidence. But there is a fine line between the ego as a tool and the ego as a downfall. Too much and a player can become overconfident, ignoring the team and making critical mistakes. Too little and they risk fading into mediocrity, never pushing themselves to stand out. Muneyuki Kaneshiro, the author of Bluelock, presents a fascinating take on character motivation. He admits that his biggest struggle lies in creating characters who live for someone else. For Kaneshiro, the idea of being selfless is often just another way of being selfish. When people sacrifice themselves for others, they end up feeling proud of their sacrifice. This essentially feeds their own ego. This perspective challenges the conventional notion of selflessness, reframing it as a hidden form of self-centeredness. This is why Kaneshiro crafted Bluelock's characters, like Isagi Yuichi, to be unapologetically self-motivated. Rather than heroes who live for others, Bluelock features protagonists driven by their own individual goals. In a way, it's a more honest approach to character creation. Embracing the selfishness isn't often present in human nature. Kaneshiro believes it's better to have characters who openly fight for their own success. It is definitely better than masking their ambitions under the guise of selflessness. Muneyuki Kaneshiro explained that Blue Lock deliberately breaks away from the traditional sports anime formula. This often revolves around teamwork, collective effort, and players working in sync to achieve victory. Instead, the series puts a sharp focus on personal success and individuality. Kaneshiro wanted to challenge the idea that the team always comes first, a concept central to most sports anime like Haikyuu. This decision stems from his own personal preferences. He admits that he struggles to relate to protagonists who live solely for others. Rather than following the standard approach of highlighting team spirit, Kaneshiro chose to emphasize self-reliance, ambition, and ego. He wanted to craft a different kind of story, one where characters are driven by their own desire to be the best. Here, selfishness isn't something to be ashamed, but is instead a critical tool for success. This deviation from the norm is what makes Blue Lock stand out. It embraces the raw ambition of its characters and redefines what it means to be a winner in the world of sports. Kuroko's Basketball presents a middle ground. The series features characters with extraordinary individual talents. It also underscores the importance of teamwork and strategy. The key, both in sports psychology and in anime, is finding the right balance. A healthy ego lets athletes trust themselves in high-pressure moments while also being aware enough to avoid arrogance. This balance ultimately separates those who rise to greatness from those who fall. Throughout Blue Lock, we witness the evolution of ego in each character, showing how it shapes their journey on and off the field. Take Isagi for instance. He started as uncertain, lacking the killer instinct needed to become the top striker. But over time, he realized that to reach the top, he can't always play for the team. He has to trust his instinct and abilities. Isagi's transformation is about embracing his ego and understanding that in order to win, he must rely on himself first. Then there's Baru, whose ego is already towering from the start. His refusal to pass comes from his overwhelming confidence in his abilities. To him, being the best means dominating at all costs. However, his unchecked ego creates friction, especially when teamwork becomes necessary. Baru's arc shows that while confidence is crucial, there's danger in letting ego turn into arrogance. And finally, Rin, perhaps the most extreme example of ego in Blue Lock. Rin is obsessed with personal dominance, driven by the belief that nobody is better than him. His relentless ambition fuels his success, but it also isolates him. It creates an intense rivalry with those around him. His ego pushes him to the top, but at what cost? It's fascinating to see how each players embrace or struggle with their sense of self, ultimately shaping their rise or fall within Blue Lock. Everything eventually begs the question, is ego truly the key to greatness? Or is Blue Lock a cautionary tale warning us about the dangers of overconfidence? As we follow the journey of Isagi, Baru, Rin, and others, we're left to wonder, how much ego is too much? So, what do you think? Does Blue Lock's emphasis on selfishness resonate with you? Is ego really the key to success, or does it come with too much risk? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your take. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Blue Lock, be sure to check out our other videos, where we dive deep into philosophy and psychology behind your favorite anime. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on more insightful content about anime and beyond.